Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Batsi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning,
Rotus.
Good morning,
how are you?
Our viewers. Fine. We're kicking things off. So, what to watch this week? We should be getting the latest federal government savings bond offer from the Debt Management Office. They, released that at the beginning of every full week of the first month. The first full week of every new month in the year. So we should be getting that later today. Tomorrow, the Consumer Electronics Show kicks off in Las Vegas. There's going to be a lot of updates around AI, Internet of Things, automobiles, and so on. So the best of the best from the US, Europe, and Asia will be displaying their latest electronics tomorrow in Viva Las Vegas. Wednesday, EU inflation for December, 2.1% was the last figure for November, this CPI, and Christine Lagarde said they're seeing inflation, steady as she goes over in the EU. So we'll see what numbers come out of that. And then it's jobs in the US. Thursday, we'll be getting jobless claims, ADP numbers, and then non-farm payrolls for January, this Friday. So a lot of data coming out from the US. As far as commodities today, you'll notice that oil prices, in fact, they even fell. They haven't really moved much in reaction to what's going on. But you've seen gold climb about 2.2% in trading this morning. The whole geopolitical concerns around what's been going on in Venezuela. Look at silver. It's now back at its record levels of $75 an ounce. But you can see Brent crude still at the $60 levels, and also West Texas. The idea, of course, is that it's going to take a long time. I think Dr. Bati mentioned this morning, Venezuela would only be adding barrels of oil to the market, which is already pretty saturated. But of course, that is, the big news, and everyone is talking about oil infrastructure. So, this has, I think, already been mentioned. Venezuela is your number one in terms of reserves, oil reserves, at 303 billion barrels. Then you got Saudi, Iran, Iraq, your top 10, Nigeria there at the bottom there at about 37 billion, right? So, but the thing, of course, is that the challenges that Venezuela is facing is it's had major underinvestments in its oil and gas infrastructure. They basically chased out all the major oil and gas companies. I think Chevron is still operating there. Also, Hugo Chavez, before he died, woke up one morning and decided that he was going to rejig the production sharing contracts with oil and gas companies there, and drove out ConocoPhillips and drove out Mobil. They took them to a court of arbitration. ConocoPhillips got a $10 billion judgment against the government of Venezuela. ExxonMobil got a little over $1 billion. Since that time, and this happened around 2004-2007, that has not been paid back. So, for a ConocoPhillips or an ExxonMobil, they're going to want their money back before they even decide to want to come back into Venezuela to do anything. And then, of course, Donald Trump has said, yes, that, U.S. oil companies are going to lead the way. Chevron is there to an extent, but any government, any oil and gas company that wants to come back and produce anything is going to want to see stability, and they'll have to be signing any agreements with whatever government is there. So it's still a long ways away. And in fact, for all analysis out there, it's going to take 5-10 more years. Venezuela was doing about 3 million barrels per day in the 70s. I think they did barely 800,000 in November of last year. So, it's a long way to go with respect to what is going to happen going forward. Dr. Bati's chat, of course, with Zach Adidiji, head of the Nigerian Revenue Service, is something that's to be watched by everyone. So do go on our YouTube channel and watch that full chat. Dr. Bati has already laid out everything. Your focus right now, if you're a business owner, an individual, just file your taxes. That is what you need to know going forward, and you'll see the returns. I heard Ayo earlier talking about the need to not follow social media individuals who will mislead you. Taiwo Yedele on Friday addressed this very same video that we looked at here extensively. I'm not going to go over all the data, but word for word, he repeated everything we talked about. $2.15 for the poverty line. Don't use nominal exchange rates to calculate income. And he referred to the Bureau of Statistics Living Standard Survey that shows the poverty line at 131,000. So that he addressed that extensively. But again, as I repeat, for those of you out there, your own focus is just one, your tax ID number. If you don't have it, you can use your NIN to get it. Two, it's a new week. This is January. track all your transactions that are coming in and out, and then file your taxes. As Zach said to Dr. Abati, everyone will see the tax returns and will see everything and compare to the prior year. Just file your taxes. That's all. That's the main thing, and that's all we have for today.
Okay, real quickly, going back to that issue on Friday, I don't want to belabor that issue, but also when you look at the calculation of the $2.15 as at when it, and what he was saying as at when the bill was written, it was $2.15. That was the international poverty line overarching rate. Yeah. That $2.15 still goes beyond 1 million. And I think we have also belabored the fact that the practicality of 137,000 poverty line in 2019 when there had not been devaluation is not practical in today's term. So
it's lower, right? So it's lower.
Lower than 137,000.
So you had, that was 2018, 2019, right? You had COVID. COVID threw 5 to 8 million more people into poverty, right? And you think about this, the exchange rate you had in 2018, 2019 was stronger than what you have today. So if anything, if you do that survey again, people today are poorer than they are back in 2018, 2019. Yes, now think about it.
You've devalued the currency. Yeah,
so the currency is weaker.
So the currency is weaker.
So you earn less.
And that's why you're having over hundreds of thousands. No, but also, what is it called? Your earnings go up.
How?
Listen, there's a bulk increase in your earnings.
From where?
Because, listen, have you forgotten that?
No, how you earn more? You say every day that inflation eats into your value. Okay, tell me how you earn more.
Have you forgotten that as of that 2019, your minimum wage was 30,000? Okay. What is your minimum wage today?
But the currency has been devalued since that time.
It's increased. So why didn't it stay at 30,000?
Look, we're doing this again. We said we're not going to do this again.
Why didn't it stay at 30,000?
Rufai, we earn less today than we did in 2018, 2019. You earn less. That's the point.
Your earning invariably is not 137,000 again.
It's less.
Adjusted for inflation, that money has gone up. Because, listen, adjusted for inflation, the money has gone up. But the value of what you have in that money is no longer tenable.
So you earn. So okay, my final point.
Can you allow other people to talk?
Go ahead.
People cannot monopolize.
Okay. All right. I'll just speak very quickly on the tax law, and just because, of course, it's hot topic, we've shared the angle around what ought to be done and some of the politics around it. We shouldn't politicize a good, move. But unfortunately, we've seen what's happened. But in terms of the detail, and I'm glad that you highlight or spotlight small businesses and business owners, because a lot of times we talk about governance in businesses, especially small business who hitherto did not know how to file returns. When it comes to paying taxes, they defaulted just because of no lack of governance and structure around there. So one of the things I wanted to mention was the digitalization of a number of these processes, because the reason why some of them might not do it is because it's not easily accessible, it's difficult, it is bureaucratic. So when you want people to pay taxes, you have to also ensure that there's an enabling environment to ensure that it's easy to do so. So one thing that's been pushed a lot is to ensure that we digitalize a number of these things. Make sure you file your annual return. You can do it online on the FRS website. There's a portal for that. You can also go to your state revenue service offices to do that. But it's just to ensure that people don't come and say at the end of the year, I don't know. Just keep on educating people and businesses to know what to do with regards to the new tax laws.
Okay, very quickly. What does the arrest, the abduction of Venezuela's Maduro mean for the energy markets? Now, the implication is that now the Americans, they've blocked the entire axis of Venezuela. Vessels cannot come in, vessels cannot go out. So that uncertainty simply means that there will be no activity within that space. That's number one. The, oil exports will be halted. As at the last count, 550,000 barrels for export, out of a total production of 950,000 barrels per day. In 2000 or so, it used to be about 3.5 million barrels per day. So the uncertainty will worsen. Now, however, Chevron is best positioned. But apart from Chevron and the other oil companies from the US that will go in there, you still have Russian investors there. You have Chinese investors. So all of that dynamics may have implications for the global energy market. However, if the Americans are able to install Maria Machado, the opposition leader, who has been behaving as if she's been positioned to take over, well, there may be some stability. But that stability will take time because infrastructure will have to be reinvented because they have decaying infrastructure, creating a situation whereby Venezuela is responsible for just about 1%. However, gold and silver are doing well. After going a little down towards the end of 2025, investors are now looking for safe havens.
Yep.
So that's why, gold has risen again to $4,458 per ounce, and silver has also appreciated by almost 28%. Asia markets are not affected, whether it's in Hong Kong or Japan or China mainland or South Korea, or they seem to be doing well.
Yeah.
And the reason is that they seem to think that the problem in Venezuela is far distant from Asia. But we'll see what happens in the oil market eventually. Near risks may be limited, but in the long run, if America takes over, there may be a glut in the market, and that may have implications for other markets that are interested in oil.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.